you can control the size of your losses. I didn't think you could control this. You can. You could control these sizes. Meaning, now how did it get 36,000 at a loss? Well, I entered at 10 o'clock and it was at a loss of a minus 1,000. 10:30, it was at minus loss of 10,000. I didn't hurry up sell or I didn't hurry up buy the stock or get out because I was thinking, I was being stupid and thinking it's going to reverse in the direction I want to go eventually. That's how I'm thinking. 2 hours later, remember, I entered here at 10 o'clock. Now it's 12. It didn't go in the direction, it didn't reverse. And what problem I'm left with? The the loss kept increasing, kept increasing, kept increasing, kept increasing because I I I was being stubborn and I stayed in the trade. And now I'm thinking when I entered at 10 o'clock and 10:20 or at 10:30 it was at minus 1,000. I should have hurried up gotten out and just say, hey, it ain't going in my direction. Hey, I'm not going to take a risk and wait for it to reverse. I'm just going to have to take that $1,000 loss and just move on because you don't want to take the risk of staying in the trade and being stubborn, and 2 hours later, you are at a minus $36,000, or you have a big loss. As a beginner, you need to understand how this big loss came to be. And I just explained to you how it came to be, and I just explained to you what should have been done. Now I need to show beginners why it has to be done, why you need to keep your loss small, and why you need to hurry up, sell, or get out the trade as soon as it goes to a loss, and why you shouldn't let it build up to a big loss. As a beginner, as a beginner trader, you need to understand this. Okay? Now let me show you all this. As you look at my trades, big loss, big losses, big losses. Let me make this 33,000. Big losses. Let me make this 44,000. Because as beginners, you're going to make these mistakes. And the best way to teach someone stocks, you got to start with the losses. Okay? At the end of the month, I'm at a loss of minus of this amount. I'm red and I want to be green. At the same time, I got some profits, some good profits. But why am I at a big loss at the end of the month? Because my losses are too huge. Beginners, you need to understand this, okay? Before you worry about the patterns, before you worry about profits, we need to master keeping your losses small first, okay? That's 50%. When you master how to keep these losses small, then we're going to worry about the profits, and then we're going to worry about the patterns. Now, as a beginner, you ask, why and how does keeping these losses small aid in having a profit? Let me show you. Let me show you. And keeping in mind what I explained about, see, now it went down miraculously. I'm going to be smart. Let me just get out because I'm not going to risk that going back to 36. Let's get out. I only did this to show y'all an example of how this is work. See, not going back to 27. Oh, God, no. I supposed to set my bad, my bad, my bad. God gracious. It's just crazy. It's a million. Wait a minute. Yeah, let's get out of here. Okay. I only did that for demonstrational purpose so y'all could see. Now let's go back to here. When I say keep your loss small, keep your losses no more. Make sure it don't go no more than 500, no more than 1,000 loss. Okay. So let's say that you as a beginner applied this. How is it going to affect my profit at the end of the month if I was to keep my losses between 500, no more than $1,000 loss? Let's watch. Keep an eye on this. Let's reverse it and go back and see how things would be changed and affected. Let's say 1,000. Let's say 500. 1,000 marks under 1,000. Let's say 60. Let's say 900. Let's say 1,500. Let's say I just was stubborn that day. You see how your loss is decreasing at the end of the month? Mind you, you still have the same number of losses, which is fine. It's okay if you lose a lot. That's not the issue. We're not trying to get you to lose any less. We're trying to get you to keep your losses small. We don't want these big losses. And look at the profit at the end of the month. Let's try to keep these losses at no more than 1,000. Watch this. Let's say this is another 980. Let's say you see keep looking down there. Let's say let's say do another 800. Let's say stubborn and holding these too long. Let's say 700. Let's say I keep this at 200. 200. Let's say I keep this at let's say I keep it at 1,000. Look at this, folks. From what I'm looking at, I'm no longer at a loss. Am I still at a loss? Let me see. Let's get this one together. Let's say another 700. Let's say 100. Well, guys. Look at that. And this is the purpose of the video. This is the first video that a beginner need to understand. We are at a profit at the end of the month. Why? I didn't win more. I didn't change that. I didn't increase my winnings. I didn't increase my profits. I didn't win more. I got a profit at the end of the month by simply doing one thing. And what is that, beginners? Keeping my losses small. Tim Sykes didn't teach it this clear. Stephen Dux didn't teach it this clear. Tim Gratani ain't teach it this clear. Jack Kellogg ain't teach it this clear. Only me teach it this clear. This is what you need to master first. This is an eye-opener. And even for guys like Tim Sykes, sometimes they got to come back to the basics. This is the basics. Keep those losses small. And I can show you, I have more losses than wins. I think this, if you could count the losses, I have more losses than wins. Check this out. Even if I add another loss, let's say I lost again, and let's say I lost again, I'm still at a huge profit because these losses are small. I'm keeping them under 1,000, between 0 and 1,000. And I losing more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I only win 8 times, but I lose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I losing more. And this is how it works, folks. Now, what I'm saying is once you control your losses and keep them small, like I showed you, and I give you all some examples, is the loss. And as you can see, that is all I want you to master. You can have a green day at the end of the month, just keeping your losses tiny as possible. Okay? Now, let me show you all one last thing. How do you keep these losses tiny as possible? I'm not going to get into your position size. Okay? But your position size has a whole lot to do with it. That's one. But two, let me sell. Let me sell this 9,000. Let me show you what needs to be done or what happens. 9,000. Let me sell it. What tick is this? INO. Let me sell that. Let me get back. Let me get it back. Okay. Let's look at this for example. You see? You see? I entered here to go short. And it's going against me. Sell. Yeah, I know this is small profit. This is small loss. But what I'm saying is, if you are a minus, the strategy or the pattern didn't work. You are a minus 180. I would sell right now. Don't hold and don't hold and don't keep stalling and waiting and hoping it go in a different direction or reverse. I need y'all beginners to get this because you don't need to buy 10 and 15 books on how to trade. You just because they ain't gonna explain it clear like this. Right now, anytime I enter, I think when I entered, I think 15, 20 minutes, it went to minus 180, 180. Get out. Immediately. Just get out. What am I doing here? See this? Just get out. This minus 450, it changed again. Just get out. There we go. That's it. Why? Because we won't keep the losses small. We won't keep them under 1,000. Okay? Now, later on, I'm gonna explain to you, you need to help you keep these losses under 1,000, you have to you have to um you have to be careful of how big your position size is or your quantity. A lot of people ask, why can't I just get like 1,000? Or why can't I just do 100,000? Okay, firstly, this is why. Let me show you why. Let's do 1,000,000. Which direction this can go in? I can say it going up. Here's why. And let's say you only have a $10,000 account. Watch this. What's the loss? I don't even know. See this? This is why. I done at a minus 90. Even if it go green, no, it's not gonna go green. See this? This is why you don't just come on, stop. Listen. I know what's wrong with this. Give me a minute. I don't know why I keep moving. This is why. You see this? Now I have to reset this account. This is why. You don't just, you have to follow these rules. You see this? You you see this? You done lost your whole account. Nobody, you done lose your account. So follow this rule, beginners. You're not supposed to use no more than 10% of your account. If you okay? Now I'm gonna do another video on how to calculate this. I'm just trying to help you to understand. You have to use 10%. Okay? I gotta go on another video to explain that, because if you don't understand your position size needs to stay small, maybe 1,000, 2,000, 4,000 quantity max. This happens. As soon as you enter, you're done at a loss of 20,000. And some of y'all accounts only that big. You would lose your whole account. You need to keep this position size manageable, small enough, because that affects how big or small your losses are. Let me say that again. Your position size really controls. There are two things. There are two things that affect your position size, your loss, the size of your loss. Okay, two things affect it: your position size, and how long you hold. Okay. I showed you how when you hold too long, even if you have a small position size, you could have a huge loss. I showed you all that. But at the same time, I showed you right now, what if you don't hold? If you have a huge position size, that will cause the size of your loss to be big. I've proven it. That's why I shown beginners this. Okay? So you have to be watching, you have to make sure you obey two of these. Do not hold long when it go against you. Don't hold long or keep them losses under 1,000. At the same time, don't use no more than 10% of your account. Or your position size, your loss should not be any more than one. Don't let it be no more than 1%. You follow these rules so you can keep these losses small and under 1,000. Okay? Now, if you want to know more about position size and calculating that and all of that foolishness, I done do videos on those.